Hi everyone, my name is Amalia. Welcome to my podcast on the final episode of Serial Season 1. In episode 12, Sarah Koenig ends the series without giving us a clear answer. And that uncertainty is exactly what stayed with me. After everything I've heard, I don't believe Adnan Syed was proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think the podcast format itself is what makes that doubt feel so real. Let's start with the facts. Adnan was convicted of killing Hae Min Lee in 1999. The state's timeline relies heavily on Jay's testimony, claiming the murder happened around 2:36 p.m. and that Adnan called Jay from Linkin Park at 7:09 p.m. But Jay's story changes every time he tells it. His timeline shifts. His details contradict the cell phone records, which themselves are sketchy. The prosecution's theory depends on towers pinging at certain times, but experts later said incoming calls can't reliably show location. That matters because there's no physical evidence connecting Adnan to the crime. No DNA, no fingerprints, nothing concrete, just Jay's word. And Sarah Koenig spends the last episode unpacking all of that, piece by piece. Now, is Sarah biased? Not in a traditional sense. She's open about her own confusion. She even says, quote, "If you're asking me to swear that he's innocent, I can't do it." But to me, that kind of honesty makes her more trustworthy. She doesn't try to sell a narrative. She gives us her doubts. And because we're hearing her voice, her pauses, her frustration, it feels like we're right there with her, trying to sort it all out. That's the power of podcasting. If this was a printed article, I would just read her words, but hearing them with background sounds from the prison phone or Hae's diary read aloud, it all feels more personal, more human. By the end, Sarah leaves us with no clear answer, and maybe that's the point. If someone who's spent a year analyzing everything still isn't true, then how could a jury be sure after just a few hours of deliberation? So here's my conclusion. Adnan might not be proven innocent, but he definitely wasn't proven guilty, and that's a problem. Serial doesn't solve the case, but it makes us question how the justice system decides truth. And that doubt, it stuck with me.